Hello, I am David W. Parker. This is Programming Today I Learned 3D Math Series, episode 53, Quaternions part 5. And today we're going to be looking at the log, the exponent, and the scaling with the multiplication, scalar multiplication for quaternions. So as you recall, this is from episode 31. If you look back here, you can see the definitions for the logarithm, exponential, as well as multiplication by a scalar, which we'll be covering today very briefly because it'll be very nice and short. So we have a bit of code here where we're going to go ahead and take a quaternion. We're going to normalize it because we need to have a normalized quaternion for what we're doing, and take the logarithm as well as the exponent, and we're going to have a different one which will be scaling here as well. Start with the last one just because scaling is obviously the most simple, and it's just basically multiplication by each of the pieces within the quaternion, so the real part as well as the other part. So that's very simple. Going back to the logarithm here, we can go ahead and look back at the previous episode 31, excuse me, and see our definition here. We're defining an alpha as theta over 2. We have a unit quaternion, and we can see that this is the by definition 0, and then times this unit vector times this alpha value. And so what we're going to end up doing here is we're going to take the arc cosine of the real part and divide it by the sine of that. And this is just basically trig definitions here that allows us to do this. So we can go ahead and see that here's our normalized quaternion, and this is the output values within that. I found this great calculator online. I'll put it in the show notes, and you can go ahead and see that if we start with this quaternion here, 111, we could take the logarithm, and of course we're doing a 0 here because of the definitions we're using, but you could see this 0.605, 0.605, and 0.605 is the same thing as we're ending up with here. If we wanted to go ahead and display more, we can have it display out. But so that's the same as what we're getting, so that's good to see. And then similarly, the exponential has the same kind of definition, where we're going to be having the cosine of that, and as well as the unit vector times sine of alpha. So, and then remember, just like always, the exponent times the logarithm of q is equal to q. So since we're taking the normalized value for this quaternion, and we take that last one, we take the exponent again, we're going to go ahead and end up with that same 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. We have a little bit of differences here because of running point errors, but more or less these is exactly what we want to see. So that's just the reverse of this. So that's it for this episode. If you like what you saw, go ahead and subscribe and give a like. Share this on social media if you will. Go to ProgrammingTIL.com and sign up for a newsletter. Thanks. Have a great one.